Hello everyone, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name's Deshaun, and today I'm going to give you my review of Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, Spider-Man Far From Home is the second Spider-Man in the movie in the MCU. Now, it's the third Spider-Man 2, which is kind of weird to think about that, as long as I've been alive, there have been 3 Spider-Man 2s. There have been 3 different Spider-Man, and there have been 3 different Spider-Man trilogies. Well, Amazing Spider-Man kind of bombed. The first one was okay, and the sequel was terrible. I paid money for that, and that was regrettable. But this is Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Now, Tom Holland has played Spider-Man 5 times now. He's played Spider-Man more than any other Spider-Man. He's almost been, I think, at this point, he's been in the same amount of movies as the previous Spider-Mans already, and he still has more movies to come. If rumors are correct, he's got like 5 more movies to come. So this has to live up to a large legacy of like the MCU. This movie takes place right after Endgame. Like, Endgame was just 2 months ago. It's hard to believe Endgame was just 2 months ago, and this is the capping off of Phase 3. Now, some people think that Endgame is the capping off of Phase 3, which you would be mistaken if you thought that. But Kevin Feige has pretty much confirmed that. It's like, no, this is the capping off of Phase 3. So basically, you have to go watch this movie if you want to understand where Marvel's going, where the world is, and keep track of this. This is a must-see movie. I'm going to just let you know that right now. This is a must-see movie. It's a very important movie to Marvel's future, and you gotta see it. And if you want to understand what's going on forward, you gotta see it. Plus, there's not going to be another MCU movie until May. That's a long time from now. May was just a month ago. So basically a year from now, there's not going to be another MCU movie for almost a full year. So you got to go out and see. So this is the last one you're going to get for quite some time, which is kind of upsetting, but I've been entertained by the MCU so far, and I love it. So I can play the waiting game. There's other movies coming out in between that I can watch, like Wonder Woman. But anywho, this movie had a very daunting weight on its shoulders, really, because it had to not only serve as a Spider-Man sequel, but an epilogue to Endgame. And it had to do so many things, and there are a lot of things being juggled in this movie that you would be mistaken in thinking that this movie is doing too much. But if you know the MCU and if you've been keeping up with it, you will see clear as day what's happening, and it will all come together. I loved Spider-Man Far From Home. I went on that whole thing, the whole 3-minute rant, just to get around to telling you how impressed I was with this movie. It juggled so many things, from the legacy of Iron Man to Peter Parker's emotional state to the fundamental characteristics of Peter Parker being, great power, great responsibility, to the characters around him dealing with the, aftermath of the snap, to world building, to, putting Spider-Man in environments he's never been in before. Like, there is so much going on in this movie. It's so much, and I'm not going to get into the spoilers yet. I'm going to, save it for a little bit, but honestly, Tom Holland's great. Samuel L. Jackson is Nick Fury's. Obviously, he's fun. Maria Hill's fun. But the standout by far is Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio. Now, Jake Gyllenhaal has been known to be a very strong actor. Jake Gyllenhaal's a character actor. He really doesn't do franchise movies. He really doesn't do franchise movies. For the most part, he's a character actor. He's an actor who picks his roles wisely. He's not the kind of guy who just goes out for roles. So many people who've been, following movies and whatnot kind of figured, like, if Jake Gyllenhaal chose to be in this movie, chose to be playing Mysterio of all people, there had to be a really good reason, and there had to be a really good character here, and he does it. He is phenomenal as Mysterio. Honestly, as a lifelong comic book fan and a guy who grew up when I was a kid watching the 90s animated Spider-Man show and seeing Mysterio, he does it justice. He does it justice in all kinds of ways. From the purple, from the green mist around him, to the green outfit with the pattern, to the eyeballs on his shoulders, the fishbowl to the big, huge purple, just over the top cape. And there's a sequence in here. I'm not going to spoil it just yet. There's a sequence in here that is outright ripped out of the pages of the comic book. And if you are a fan of Spider-Man, you are going to love that part. That part was amazing. It blew my brain out the back of my head. And I've seen this movie twice now. I saw it with one friend, and I just saw it earlier today. So I've seen it twice now. And every time, in both those times, it blew my mind. And I got to watch my friends' minds blow. Well, or at least today, I got to watch I got to watch Seth's head explode. Now, Seth's not here right now. He's got to do something. So he's not here to review with me. But I got to watch his head explode. And it was amazing, man. Watching that sequence was amazing. And like I said, there's a lot of coming of age stuff going on. It has this interesting, I will say, this is going to be controversial for many, but I think the Spider-Man Homecoming franchise, the Spider-Man franchise, has the best ensemble. Not the best stories, not the best characters, not the best villains, but the best ensemble of small characters. Like, every one of the characters in his, I'd say 7+, 5 to 6+ friends groups, all these characters around him have so much, stuff going on with them as well. Like, Betty Brant is this, she's this, chipper up little girl trying to be, a reporter, a school reporter and whatnot, or trying to be whatever they do, those school I can't say the word. I can never say the word right, but those school announcements, and she's got something going on. Ned's got something going on. Ned's kind of this guy in the chair. He's a super nerd. Zendaya, aka MJ's got stuff going on. You got Flash Thompson with stuff going on. They introduced this character named Brad, who's got stuff going on. All of these, the teachers even have character. There's so many characters in his circle. And I love the idea of Spider-Man being in a school with all of these comedians, because in Homecoming, his PE teacher was Hannibal Buress. So, and it's nice, and his science teacher is Martin Starr, and JB Smoove is a teacher there too. So it's all of these comedians are teachers in his school, and I love it. I think that's pretty clever to surround Peter Parker with all of these kind of people, to bounce off of. And I think, like I said, he has the most fun cast, because even Iron Man really only had Happy and Pepper. That's about it. Cap only had the most closest people to him, Sam and Bucky. And you know what I mean? The Guardians is an ensemble movie, but all the characters with one person, outside of maybe Black Panther. Black Panther had some pretty good ensemble pieces, but I think the Spider-Man cast is more in detailed, than some of the others. So I love the cast. Everyone was great. Flash, Zendaya, there's funny bits. But to give you, I can't really get into it because there's so much to spoil. So I'm gonna just tell you this: I give Spider-Man Far From Home a 9.5. I've been thinking about this. It's a 9 to a 9.5. I can't say it's a solid 9.5 because it could have been better. There's nothing in this movie that I didn't. There's only one thing in this movie that I didn't like, but even that's debatable. And then there's things in this, and there's a few things in this movie that blew my mind. But for the most part, it's just a fun time at the movie theaters. It's a fun. Go out, take your family, just go out by yourself maybe, and just have a good time. Especially if you're a Spider-Man fan, you're gonna love it. And if you're a fan of Spider-Man Far From Home, there's no way you're not gonna love it. If Spider-Man Far From Home was a warming feeling to me, and this movie just reminded me of that. It was just a continuation of that. To me, it's neck and neck with Spider-Man Far From Home. I just had a great time with this movie. It was fun, It was fun. So, I'm settling on a 9.0 to a 9.5 as my rating for this movie. Right now, I will have to say I'm going to go into spoiler territory. So, if you really don't want to know, just listen to this part of the review. I'm stopping it at about 9 minutes and 40 seconds. So, if you don't want to know anything else, I would stop at the 9-minute 40-second mark, and I would come back when you've seen the movie. So, bye. Thank you for joining the Coming Movie Show. Come back when you've seen it. Okay. Mysterio. There's a twist. Throughout the entire course of the movie, all nerds of all sort knows Mysterio's a villain. It's not a surprise. I think Jake Gyllenhaal did a good job of convincing me that Peter would believe. I never believed he was a good guy, but I think Jake Gyllenhaal did a great job of convincing Peter that he was a good guy. I saw why Peter would want to like this guy. I saw why Peter would want to give this guy the glasses, the Edith glasses, which he finds later on in the movie. Tony Stark leaves him his glasses. Now, you might have seen these glasses in Endgame and Infinity War. It's those glasses. The glasses that he wore in Endgame, where you like tap them and they just do things for him. It's called Edith, which stands for Even in Death, I'm the Hero. Even dead, I'm the hero. That's Tony Stark for you. But anywho, and later he leaves Peter with these glasses. Cause it's another responsibility thing of like, Peter, you're responsible. You're the only one I trust with this to be responsible enough to take care of this. So he leaves Peter with those glasses. And there are some other things that happen, but I'm going to just get into the big part. Mysterio was not only a villain, not only the Master of Illusions, he was a disgruntled Stark ex-scientist who created the barf technology. And if you don't know what the barf technology is, go watch Civil War. It's that technology that is at the beginning of the movie when you first see Tony Stark and he's like recreating an event in his memory from CG, from like special, like the projectors. That's the technology. So, and he took it and called it barf, and Quentin Beck never let it go. And the thing is, I knew that Mysterio was going to be the Master of Illusion. I knew that he was trying to trick Peter into giving him the Edith glasses. I knew that. What I didn't know, what was shockingly surprising and delightfully surprising, is that it was a team effort. Mysterio has this whole team of disgruntled employees, and they're not like special ops or like people who like special ops. They're people who banded together. They're almost like a union, like something like kind of like that. They're people who banded together with their common disgust towards Tony Stark to seize a moment. And it's not even seize world domination. And the thing is, it's not even about world domination or conquering the world or ultimate power. It's literally, we have been passed on because we passed on because we don't have superpowers and shit. Like, people don't listen to us because we don't have abilities. People don't listen to the smartest person in the room anymore. They listen to the most coolest person in the room, the most clever person in the room. You gotta bring more to the table than that. And it's like, that's bullshit. And that's how they all feel. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. We can contribute, and we're not given the fair shot. And Mysterio, kind of being this jester type guy, found these people who are like-minded, brought them together, and they created Mysterio. Quentin Beck is just a point man, but this whole group is really Mysterio. And I thought that was pretty fascinating, the idea that Mysterio's bigger than just one man. Granted, Quentin Beck is the brains behind it, he's the main guy, and he's really Mysterio. But I love the idea, and like the way they did it, it was like he went on this speech like talking about Tony Stark and how he hated him. They even brought back the guy from the first Iron Man, who Obadiah Stane was cussing out for not being Tony Stark, which is still one of my most hilarious moments in a movie, when he's just like, Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps, and he's just like, dog, I'm not Tony Stark, man. Like what do you, I don't know. Pretty sure he got fired as he ended up here. But yeah, man, like, I just thought that was so clever to have him have a team, and the way that it was done was like a movie. Like, he had writers, he had like designers, he had people who were coming up with the designs of the monsters. There was like storyboards in the background. There was like choreography teams. I'm like, bruh, this is well thought out. It's like if someone had all this kind of money and technology, and it's like all of this is just to con the world. And the idea of all these people coming together to do a massive con job on the world is amazing. And Jake Gyllenhaal's acting. And the thing is, when you watch the movie, go back and watch it twice. You can tell the distinct difference between who he really is and who he was pretending to be. Because in the first half of the movie, he's the stoic badass figure who's saying the right things, who has a couple charming lines here and there. And then in the second half, he's just this, manic, like, scientist, genius guy who's clever, who's charming, who's like, he's got this thing about him. He's kind of like a twisted version of Tony Stark. He's got like a twisted, egotistical version of Tony Stark. Now, sure, he's saying that he cares about these people, but you can tell he really doesn't care about these people. These people are a means to an end, and like, by the time he reached that end, he probably would have just killed most of them. They know too much. But you know what? Like, I thought it was great. The whole team aspect of it. Also, throughout the course of the movie, Happy Hogan and Aunt May are having a weird thing. Yes, because a lot of Spider-Man fans are kind of upset that they made Aunt May younger, which I'm like, she's still 55 years old. I mean, she's Aunt May, not Grandma May. It never really made... this is the old core. I'm like, it never made sense that Aunt May was about 80, 90 years old with a 16-year-old nephew. I don't know how that worked. Like, and she was all senile and stuff. It was like, no, this Aunt May is an aunt. She is 55 years old, and she's played by Marissa Tomei, who is fine as hell at 55. Like, it's like literally in the theater, there's still dudes going, damn. I'm just like, 55? What? Every time I see Marissa Tomei, every time I see that Aunt May, I'm just like, yep, you gotta find a woman like that. Who, when she's 55, she still look that bad? Not like you just theoretically going, oh, you look beautiful, honey. Like, no. Like, dudes are still looking at your wife at 50. That's the kind of woman you gotta find. But, yeah, Marissa Tomei there's a thing going on between Happy and them. They finally touched the spider sense, which I'm gonna clear this up right here now. The spider sense has always been in the MCU. They just never stopped the movie to make a huge deal about it. Like, he used it in Civil War. He used it in Civil War. He used it in Homecoming. He used it in Endgame. He used it in Infinity War. Or he felt it. He used it in Infinity War. He used it in Infinity War multiple times. So, though the spider sense has always been there, but they just clarified it. They made it more of the spider sense isn't this over dramatic thing that stops and wiggly lines start coming up around his head, or in the Sam Raimi movies it would be like slow motion. No. It's more or less a feeling. It's almost like metaphorical and real and an actual tangible thing. Somehow it's both a metaphor and a tangible thing in the movie, because it's a metaphorical by, obviously, trust your gut. That's kind of one of the messages of the movie is trust your instincts, trust your gut, trust yourself. And so if you feel like something's wrong, trust it. But in Peter's case, when he feels like something's wrong, something is probably wrong, and his spider sense is going off. Of course, they make a running joke about it being called the Peter Tingle, but I'm sure he'll clear that up eventually, because it's a joke. It's a constant joke. It's like, dude, it's a joke. It's not going to be called the Peter Tingle. Though, I'm pretty sure Aunt May and Happy are going to call it the Peter Tingle. He's going to be like, it's the spider sense, bitch. But, yeah, like, and throughout the course of the movie, like I said, I didn't want to get into spoiler territories with this earlier, but, like, this sequence with Mysterio, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, because, like, I guess that's not the last thing I'm going to say. This sequence with Mysterio is one of the greatest comic book things I've ever fucking seen. And if you've played any video game, with Mysterio in it, if you've watched any cartoon with Mysterio in it, you know that he has a knack for going on these elaborate illusions. I'm talking illusions so thick, so real, so insane that you believe that it's real. And he does it in this. He uses these drones because he has these drones that create the illusion. He uses these drones in this insane way where he just puts Peter in this elaborate maze illusion where he's all over the place. He's changing Peter's outfit. He's changing Peter's. He's messing with Peter's eyes. At one point, Peter was transported into a snow globe, or it looked like a snow globe. Then it zooms out and it's Mysterio's head as he takes it off. At some point, there's a giant Mysterio statue who's looking up at, and it's nuts. And then he pops up in front of Iron Man's grave, and Iron Man jumps out the grave as a skeleton. It's nuts. And it's all fake. But that's the point of Mysterio. Mysterio's like, because one of the big messages out of the movie, and one of the big messages from Mysterio is that reality or perspective is reality. It's one of those things, perception is reality. And if you fixes people's perception, if you make people desperate enough, they'll believe in anything. If you catch people at a right time, they'll believe in anything. And it's easy to fool people. This is a line. It's easy to fool people who are already fooling themselves. It's easy. And it's like, when you figure out how people think, you can manipulate people. And that's what Mysterio's all about, is once he could just manipulate you. It's like, of course you think this is real because you don't even know your own goddamn perception is. It's like, and like I love it. It's like you like that's one of the messages. You would be amazed what people would believe, you know, or what people wouldn't believe. And the fact that you can play with that, you know, there's some interesting themes going on with Mysterio and with Peter Parker himself about overcoming the idea of being the next Iron Man. And it took a lot for him to get over that, but like, and the action in this movie is really cool too. Like, there's some great action set pieces, particularly that one and the last battle of Mysterio were pretty fucking awesome, especially with Peter doing all kinds of new things with his you know, his tech that he designed himself. But there's some great bits. After this, like Happy and him have a heart-to-heart, and Happy tells him, he's like, you're not gonna be Iron Man. He's like, you're not Iron Man. Like, basically, what I thought when I did the review of the trailer, I'm like, this is gonna be one of the stories. This is at least gonna be one of the stories. Is you're not Iron Man. You're Peter Parker. You're Spider-Man. Don't be him. Be your own man. You don't have to do that. And like, you know, fuck people who think you need to do that. And that's one of the big things is Peter learns to trust himself. He learns to be himself. He learns to be Spider-Man and respect Iron Man's legacy and still remember Iron Man, but he doesn't have to be Iron Man. And he overcomes a lot after they have their heart-to-heart. He creates his own suit. Back in Black is played, which if you're following the MCU, you know Back in Black is the first song ever played in the MCU, so it's very symbolic. Also, it's kind of, you know, double symbolic since Peter's putting black into his suit, but you've seen the trailer, so you've seen him in the red and black suit. And minor little trivia for people. The original Spider-Man suit was not supposed to be red and blue. It's supposed to be red and black, but apparently they couldn't print black back then, or printing black was very expensive, so they used blue. That's kind of funny. I thought that was kind of clever how they put that in there, how they're like, ooh, you know, like I was like, that's nice. But and eventually he shows up, he defeats Mysterio, he overcomes the illusion, he saves his friend, him and MJ embrace and kiss, they become a relationship. Ned and Betty were dating throughout the course of the movie, which is a hilarious subplot, by the way. And eventually they break up near the end, pretty much saying that teenage relationships are about as fleeting as, I don't know, they're just fleeting. They come, they go. You don't know how long they're gonna last. You don't know how quickly they're gonna go. It's just like, but of course, Ned, being Ned, handled it like a champ. He's just like, people grow apart. It's just like, wow. But the big thing, the major thing that happened at the end of this movie, J.K. Simmons as Jonah Jameson from the original Spider-Man trilogy is back as Jonah Jameson, but it's a different Jonah Jameson. He doesn't have the flat top anymore. He's a bald head. He's got the beard and the white. He's bald head, and it's called thedailybugle.net. It's a blog channel or a blog show. I don't know how that shit works, but it's a blog. It's like a because they said it's a controversial web page. So it's like he's this controversial web page guy. He's like a wild film theorist. He's a personality. He's a TV personality, and I'm like, that's a different way of going because it's still Jonah Jameson still preaching his propaganda. You know, still preaching his propaganda, but he's not a news guy anymore. Well, he's still a news guy. He's a modern, updated version of it. It's called thedailybugle.net. And Mysterio got one last laugh. Not only did he frame Spider-Man for the deaths of all those people at that event, not only did he reveal Spider-Man's name, he revealed Spider-Man's identity and name. And he put a big picture of him on the board. And it ends with Spider-Man going, what the fuck? Because, honestly, it shocked me. I have no clue where they're going. Like, I don't even know what you do. It's never happened before in any Spider-Man story. His identity's never been just outright, let loose by one of his, criminals. It's never happened before on, the big screen. So I have no clue where they're going. I don't even know how he avoids this. I'm just trying to wreck my mind of what he does to get out of this, and it's gonna be 2 to 3 years before you see Spider-Man again. So, good luck with these 2 to 3 years of us just sitting here just thinking about this shit. But yeah, man, that was a great post-credit scene. It just had layers of insanity. It was just like escalated, and you're just like, well, I don't know how you're getting out of this one, man. Good luck with that. And the second one was a reveal that Nick Fury and Maria Hill were not Nick Fury and Maria Hill. They were the Skrulls Talos, and I can't remember the other chick's name, his wife. I'm just say Talos. Talos is the only score worth remembering in that movie because he's the cool one. He's the one played by Ben Middleton. He's pretty funny. He's the one with all the wit. He's the one with the whole joke about shoving a foot up my ass. And he's like, well, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, Talos is fun. Talos is fun. And turns out Nick Fury sent them there in disguise as him to give Peter the glasses. At first, you think that, oh, Secret Invasion's happening. But it's like, no, they're working for Nick Fury. So now you have no clue what's going on. Nick Fury's on a space station with a whole bunch of Skrulls. I don't know what's happening. It's nuts. Like, that's why I said Spider-Man Far From Home is a big deal. It sets up so many things for the future. Like, just so many. Like, and the thing is, you have to wait a full year. Probably two, because I'm pretty sure the next movie coming out is going to be Black Widow, and it's going to be a prequel. So you pretty much got to wait, like, almost 2 years. Like, at least a year and a half before you get to actually see some future shit. So you're going to have to wait, like, a year and a half before you actually see the MCU's future stuff being implemented. So this is going to be a long year, okay? Like, this is going to be a long-ass year. Because, like I said, this is a weird time. Because there's been an MCU movie coming out at least every 4 to 3 months. Every four to 5 months, sometimes 3. So this is going to be a weird time where there's literally no MCU movie coming out, like I said, until May. That's the next date they have logged. It's May 4th. That's a long-ass time from now. So this is gonna be a nuts year. Like, hopefully something comes out that can grab me, you know, because, oh man, you know, like, I might as well say this because this is the combination of Phase 3. This is the combination. This is the wrap on the Infinity Saga that started in Iron Man and it ends with Spider-Man, which is totally, I don't even know how that works out like that. That it started with him and it ends with the person who's taken the mantle as the new heart of the MCU. And that's what this movie was about. Is Spider-Man becoming Spider-Man. He's not Iron Man. And it's so great representation. And I just gotta say, I can't wait for what happens next. There's even an Easter egg in this that teases the fans. There's a sign in the background that says Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, and then Phase 4 had a question mark on it and said, we can't wait to show you what happens next. I'm like, you, Marvel, you guys are just, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you're doing it. Like, because DC's out here doing other shit. Like, I like Shazam. Don't get me wrong. I gave Shazam like an 8.5. But, I mean, Shazam not connected to anything. They couldn't even have Henry Cavill show up in that. Like, I don't even know what's happening with DC. They got that Joker movie coming out, but that's like some Elseworld shit. Like, Marvel's the only constant. And DC's going to have a nice little window. I think they got Wonder Woman coming out next year. They got Joker coming out next year. So they'll have a nice little window to play with, but those are really the only comic book movies coming out next year. You know, like I said, you know, there are going to be Marvel movies coming out, but it's going to be a while. So thank you for joining me in a Comic Game Movie Show. How did you like Spider-Man Far From Home? Did you like it as good as Homecoming, or do you not think it's that great? Whatever you think, comment below, let me know. I give the movie a 9 to a 9.5. I had a blast with it. It's a near perfect movie. The only complaint I have is that Mysterio dies at the end. And like I said, that might not be a complaint because he may not be dead. He is the master of illusions. I hope he isn't because Jake Gyllenhaal is a great actor. And when you get someone like that, I don't know why they keep losing them. I'm already pissed off that they killed Killmonger. I was like, what the fuck? How you just kill Killmonger after one movie? He was amazing. And they even set up that they could have put him in a prison and healed him. So, you know, needless to say, I'm already feeling all kind. I'm like, come on, you're going to do this to me again. So yeah, thank you for joining me on the Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.